Hey guys, so I've actually got a book in the mail yesterday. It is Kingdom of the Slavs. So let me show you the book right here. The author is Mauro Orbini, and this book, it's very interesting because it's only available in a few languages. It's available in 16th century Italian. It's available in Russian. I have the Russian version, and this came from Russia literally just like yesterday. I mean, I've been waiting probably about a month and a half for this book to arrive, and surprisingly, I was able to order it. And this book, what's interesting about this book is that, as I mentioned just now, it's available in 17th century Italian. And no, sorry, I'm wrong. I think it's 16th century Italian, yeah. And in Russian, and it's in Serbian, and it's in Bulgarian. And what's interesting is that, like, this book, it was censored and it was scandalous when it came out because Kingdom of the Slavs is written by a Catholic Serb. In 1601 is when the book came out. I think he started writing it in the late 1500s. And so, like, they tried to ban it, and for some reason, such a historical book, and I did not really read the whole book yet. I've only read the first couple pages, and I just find it interesting, fascinating how, like, such a book exists, and it was scandalous at the time, and no curious researcher in England, the United States, Germany, France, Spain, nobody decided to translate it into those languages. I wonder why, because there are Slavic researchers in Germany, England, France, the United States, and other European countries, and for some reason, um, like, those books are not available in those languages, only in the languages that I listed. And so, if you're curious, there is the Serbian version of the book. This is what it looks like. This is the Serbian translation. Kraljevstva Slovena, the author Mavro Orbini. And guys, also forgive my, like, if there's something with my heavy breathing or my voice, is because I'm suffering from a cold, so bear with me. What's really sad is that, like, was it like 3 weeks ago I had a flu, then I was fine the week after that, and then all of a sudden I just got a cold a couple days ago. It was just really bad. Yeah, I thought I was healed, and all of a sudden I got sick again, but this time it's the cold. And honestly, like, I felt better with the flu than with this annoying cold, to be honest. So if you hear some heavy breathing, it's just I'm trying to suffer through this cold right now. So yeah, that was the Serbian version. So yeah, if you're a Serb and you're interested in getting this book in your Serbian language, that's what it looks like. It's actually on Amazon. That's pretty cool. If you're Bulgarian, they have it in the Bulgarian language. Царството на славяните, история от Дон Мавро Орбини от Raguza Abat at Mletskaya Orden. So Bulgarians, please forgive me if I butchered your language. This is what the original Italian cover looked like. Il regno de Glislavi oggi corrottamente detti schiavoni storia di Don Mavro Orbini Ravseo. And yeah. And then right here I could read Dalmatia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Russia, и Bulgaria. So Dalmatia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Russia, and Bulgaria. And yes, this is what the original cover looked like for the original copy of the book. And then there's the 3 different Russian versions. So I have this one right here. The publisher is Veche. So this book, this version, I'll explain why different, why it's unique. But there's the Alma Media Group, and so their title. So mine is um, the Kingdom of the Slavs. The Alma Media Group, also a Russian translation of the book, but they called it the Slavic Kingdom. So mine is called Kingdom of the Slavs. They call their version Slavic Kingdom, but it's the same book and their translation. And then there's the Prosveshchenie publisher. So this publisher, Prosveshchenie, this is the cover. This is the version I actually originally wanted to get. I like this cover and it looks pretty nice. I like it better than what I got, but this one was sold out. So the bookstore that was selling the books, this version, this cover was sold out, and this publisher is the Prosveshchenie publisher. Prosveshchenie is translated as illumination. So yeah, so I don't have this version. I have, oops, I almost dropped the book. So I have this version, the Veche publisher, and so this version it's unique because the first half of the book it's written in the original 1722 Russian, and so basically Tsar Peter the First, some of us know him as Peter the Great. One of his advisors was a Serbian, and he told him about the book. He brought him a copy of the book. Peter the Great approved that the book would be translated into Russian. So this edition from this publisher, they decided to publish the first half of the book in the original 1722 Russian. And so I could read it. It's just that there's a certain style that they spoke in that in 1722 it's obviously not modern Russian, not the modern Russian I'm used to speaking and reading in, and so I got to take my time when I read it. And like for example, in saying francuskие, this is francuskия, английские, this is английския, instead of испанские, they say испанские. Now francuskие means like French, английские is English. So, and Ispanskia, like meaning Spain, Ispanskaya, Ispanskие, like of Spain, from Spain, Spanish, España, right? In this version, they don't say España, they say España. And so instead of saying Spanish, Ispanskia, they say Ispanskia. So yeah, so I have to kind of get used to some of the outdated, archaic Russian words that are used in the first half of this book. Then the second half of the book, they have it in updated modern Russian. And I don't know the actual true reasoning why they did this, but so this edition, that's how it is. Like the first half is the language of the time when Russia was ruled by Peter the First in 1722. So yeah, and I tried to. So today I'm not going to review like the first chapter because I'm going to work hard on this to translate the chapters for this book and to read them and review them. And I'm still working on reading and reviewing the chapters for Resistance to Evil by Force. And so today I just decided to let you guys know that I have this book finally, the Slavic Kingdom, or the Kingdom of the Slavs. It doesn't matter how you say it. And I just want you guys to know that I have this book because it's very unique. It's very unique, and it's just very sus that this book was not translated into any other language. That's what makes this thing whole thing fascinating. And obviously, I might have to take this book with a grain of salt. We should never jump on board on something fascinating and be like, oh wow, this is the whole truth. You have to do your own research. Obviously, you have to turn on your critical thinking skills, and you got to use your brain once in a while. I really hate when people just get super sensational about something, and then you just can't change your mind on anything else. And yeah, it's very important to be a critical thinker and to not like just jump on the bandwagon and accept information at face value. And so, what's important about this book is that it talks about like apparently the true origins of the Slavic people, and um, the reason why it's controversial is because it kind of gives a more of an older, more of a unique origin for the Slavic nation, and so I think it's interesting that like it's kind of sus that this book, which was scandalous when it first came out, like it's not translated in other languages so that other historians can study this book. They can tear it apart if they want to, dissect it, and point out where this book is wrong, where this book is correct, or just completely disown the book. But still, like just for research sake, have this book in your original language or something. And one person in the chat wrote down Z. Thank you for that comment. Potato #08. Interesting. And so I'm going to just kind of read somewhat of the introduction that I translated. And so I try my best to translate this. And people are telling me that like since this book is not English, that I should translate this book into English. Well, I'm not a big academic scholar, so like I don't know if I have the time or energy to actually translate this book into English, but it would be awesome. Like maybe I should, just, like spend time trying to translate each chapter into English and then just create my own version, and have this book published in the English language and be that guy who translated this book into English. And so, yeah, I'm going to read like the intro that I translated for you guys. So here we go. Mauro Orbini, a Catholic monk, the author of this book, first published in 1601 in Italian. He belonged to Western culture. But his book is a real hymn to the greatness of the Slavs, solemn and pathetic despite the fact that the author follows the 1,000-year tradition of Western historiography. In this very contradiction lies the mystery of this unusual book. So what they're trying to say here is that like he's using more of a Western style of historiography because he's a Catholic Serb, and his name, like Mauro Orbini, like, is that really a Serbian name? So he's more Westernized, and he's using like a Western style of his like historical research, and like despite all this, he's praising like the Slavs, right? Something that was not something popular, especially in that time. And so many of its primary sources are truly unique. In addition, the author, a Dalmatian humanist, a Southern Slav, stubbornly defends the idea, unexpected for him, of the origin of the ancestors of the Slavic family from the Hyperborean north, the European north. So you guys heard of Hyperborea? Well, yeah, well, Hyperborea, like I believe in the Greek history, like it was an actual physical place. It was just something beyond, like Greece, beyond Macedonia. So I guess that's the non-mythical explanation of Hyperborea. But yeah. When the first edition of the book was published in Europe, a scandal immediately broke out and the book was banned. The unique publication was published in a translation of 1722, made by the outstanding Russian diplomat of the Petrine era. The Petrine era refers to the era of Tsar Peter I, Tsar Peter the Great. And so made by the outstanding Russian diplomat of the Petrine era, the Serb, Sava Lukic Rogozinski Vladislavich. If you go to Wikipedia, the English version of Wikipedia just says Sava of Vladislavich. So yeah, but like here in the intro, they use his full name. The book is published in a version adjusted to modern literary standards. The commentary article and page-by-page notes will help the reader understand the historical study of this Dalmatian monk, written in a manner unusual for our time. And that's the first half of the book. And there's another intro page in here that I did not translate, but they do explain that the first half of the book is basically like in this 1722 style of writing. Sensational and unusually large scale, it does not refute, but on the contrary, confirms half-forgotten medieval evidence about the ancestors of the Slavs, finding unexpected analogies in the bold hypothesis and discoveries of modern scientists. Now, modern scientists is when in Russia, like historians, they're not treated as graduates of the humanities. They're usually treated as scientists. And a lot of times, like in our English language, we say, hey, according to historians, according to this, like we don't usually use the word scientist. While in Russia, like sometimes historian and scientist can be used interchangeably. So like sometimes instead of just saying, yeah, according to historians, right? A lot of Russians would just say, according to scientific research, according to scientists. And so historians are kind of treated like sciences as well. History is kind of more of a science over there. Here in America, it's more of this like humanitarian, artsy thing. It's not truly a science. Although I think you could still get a BS in history, an MS in history, but like usually it's a BA or an MA, like Bachelor of Arts, Master of Arts. It's not really a Bachelor of Science or Master of Science. Some colleges, universities, they do that, but usually it's a Bachelor of Arts. And still, like in America, like we don't really treat historians like scientists, although history itself is a science. Science is basically knowledge. And so what does it mean by what does the publisher or the publishing house, what do they mean when they say it does not refute but on the contrary confirms half forgotten medieval evidence about the ancestors of the Slavs? Well, there are a lot of Slavic historians, especially in Belarus and Russia. Not so much Ukraine anymore. But in Russia, there are many scientists, historians, archaeologists who find like what they could call evidence for a much older Slavic history than whatever we are presented. And like for example, it is a scientific fact, for example, that there were Slavic tribes in ancient Germany. In eastern Germany, you had the Wendish tribes. And for example, y'all probably heard of Arkona. And Arkona was a Slavic fortress in northern Germany. And not only was it Slavic, but it was also not Wendish. It was most likely a Rus fortress. So this also shows that the ancient Rus, like they were able to sail to northern Germania, or what is northern Germany today, and build a fortress, build a trading outpost up there. And eventually Arkona was destroyed. I mean, this is a fact. Arkona was destroyed by German Christians, a German bishop. And this was before the schism, so one Holy Orthodox Church at the time. So that like there was no Orthodox versus Catholics, right? It was just one church. And so there was a German bishop who basically went on this move to defeat the Slavs in Arkona, and Arkona was destroyed. And so the Wendish tribes either were destroyed or they were assimilated. They accepted the Christian faith and they were simply assimilated with the Germans. And what's interesting today, I don't know the name of this place, and what's interesting, again, not covered by any English documentaries, any English historians, or any other Western historians. But in Germany, they dug up an actual preserved Slavic village. And what's interesting is that there might be some parallel with the Rus tribes, that they possibly would have traveled over there and had a village of their own. And stuff like this is nothing out of the ordinary. People migrated, people traveled. We have evidence of Vinland in North America, in Newfoundland, in Canada. So there was a Viking village, or sorry, Scandinavian village, because Viking is a profession, not a nationality. Sorry to offend the pagan LARPers out there. But Vinland, it existed. We know this. There's evidence for Vinland existing in North America. So it's not out of the ordinary to just say, oh, there were Slavic villages in Germany. But we do have evidence. German archaeologists dug up an entire Slavic village. And so that there's more evidence for the Wendish tribes existing there. This could be more hearsay, what I'm going to say right now, but even Heinrich Himmler and German Mustache Man. So this here is more hearsay, so don't take this too seriously. But both of them would freak out and be angry whenever they would hear from their own archaeologists that they're not finding really much Germanic culture, but they're finding more Slavic culture in the ground. And so, those two guys would be freaked out, especially German Mustache Man. Like, oh, what? Well, what do you mean evidence of Slavic culture? We need ancient German culture, right? Well, no, sorry. And modern evidence shows this. And so also, and what I'm saying right now is also hearsay, but apparently a lot of German archaeology students are told that if they do find any Slavic culture that they dig up, to just kind of put it back in the ground. So there's that again, that's hearsay. But what is a fact is that they did find an actual Slavic village, and it's still on display in Germany today. You could actually go visit this village, and I think it's near Berlin or something like that. It's something Bear something. It's pretty interesting. An actual Slavic village you could see today, and German archaeologists do not hide it. They're open about it. They have a curator, saying, "Hey guys, this is a unique Slavic village here in Germany," and like I said, we know about the Wendish tribes. That the Wendish tribes existed, and there was a time when the Slavs spoke to each other without a translator. So the Eastern Slavs, Southern Slavs, Western Slavs, Balto Slavs, they all spoke to each other without a translator. Obviously, there's dialects and different pronunciations of certain words, but the language was the same. And from what I understand, historians would say, the languages started to kind of diverge from each other probably around the 1300s, 1400s, and basically every tribe started to have more borders that would kind of be closer to that language they spoke. The Poles, have their own unique language. The Rus have their own unique language, and the Serbs have their own language. And and through time, obviously, and time and distance, basically, and I would say religious faith had a role in this, because some of the Slavs remained loyal to the Pope. Some of the Slavs remained loyal to the Holy Orthodox Church, and that's how it is today. And because of this separation, Slavs fight with each other and kill each other, and that's not really a good thing. That's what the enemies of the Slavic people want. And unfortunately, this might offend some Roman Catholic Slavs, especially the Poles, the Czechs, the Croatians. But this is what your Pope wants. Your Pope wants he wants all of you guys to submit to his authority, and he's angry that the other Slavs are not submitting to his authority. That's why he wants you to hate your fellow Orthodox brothers. Like, I mean, like we're not your brothers regarding religion, but we are your ethnic brothers. And the Pope wants you guys to hate us because we don't want to submit to his fake authority. But that's a different issue. But yeah, this book, it's very controversial. It's very controversial, and I think there's a reason why it's censored. And like I said, this book, it may not be 100% truth. I'm willing to admit that this book could be just pure sensationalism, and because it does start to ask questions: Are the Macedonians, are they truly Macedonians? Are they Slavic? Because um, Macedonians today are Slavic. Now, many Greeks will tell you that the original Macedonians were Greek, and then the Bulgars just started moving in the medieval era and just started, taking over all of Macedonia, and the true ethnic Macedonians who were actually Greeks simply escaped, went to Greece, and they ceded their own country to the Slavs, to the Bulgarians. And now Macedonia today, modern day Macedonia, is a Slavic country. But other Slavic historians, especially in Russia, have been finding evidence that it's possible that the Macedonians were always Slavic. And what's interesting is that this book will uncover these secrets, these answers. Like, were the Macedonians truly Slavic the entire time? And was Alexander the Great a Slav himself? And so, like, this information should be taken with a grain of salt. So I'm not trying to be sensational here, but at the same time, it's just something that's worth researching. And I tend to review this book chapter by chapter with my co-host, and this will take a while because I'm going to have to like translate and translate, and I don't know if I'll have to I don't know if I'll translate like every single page in every chapter for you guys, but I think I'll translate like some main points, and then basically like give you my take on my opinion on the whole thing. And my co-host, because my co-host, to those of you who don't know, he's a Czech, so he's a Roman Catholic Slav. I'm an Orthodox Slav. So yeah, um, yeah. So eventually, my co-host and I, we will both um, discuss chapter by chapter, and we will give you our opinions. But I think it's worth researching this, and if you guys are, and this might have a lot of answers to the true origins. And these might be true origins. And I looked at some of these sources that this guy lists, and he's listing people that are from the medieval era, and like he's explaining how these people confirm the ancientness of the Slavic race. And I'd say it's worth a read. And yeah, and I just want you guys to know I have this book. So in the future, wait for me to discuss chapter 1 and so forth. And we'll see, like, is this book worthy? Is it worthy to be translated into English for English speakers? Right, let's see, what did the chat say? When is the next? Okay. Yeah, guys, I'm having trouble reading some of your chats, like not showing me the entire chat. Hold on. When is next stream with Darth? Oh, well, I don't know. It depends on the topic. Unless Darth is interested in discussing resistance to evil by force. But yeah, I'll have to talk to Darth Kilhoun about what topic he wants to discuss. So, yeah. And so, yeah, like, I don't know if I have any more to say about this because so far this was just the intro to the book, just to let you guys know that I finally have this book. I finally have this book, and I wish it was in English. It would be a lot easier if it was in English, but maybe, Lord willing, God willing, maybe I'll be the first person to introduce the English speaking world to this amazing book. So yeah, yeah. On that note, just like, share, subscribe, and in the description section, you guys will find the link to the Streamlabs channel. So if you guys want to be kind, donate to support this channel. If you go on my other videos, I have the link to the merch store, buy some of the merch. Yeah, so support the channel, because like, me, my co-host, we're trying to help this channel grow, and yeah, like